Good morning, everyone. I want us to think back years and years ago to when we were little kids living at home still. Christmas is coming. It's December. The days and weeks leading up to Christmas was filled with anticipation, excitement, a waiting, maybe an agonizing wait, but still a certain excitement with it. We'd help mom and dad decorate the house, or maybe not, depending on family. We'd see a couple of presents every week pop up under the tree, and we'd rush over and pretend we're not looking to see if it's for us. We'd have days off of school. We'd make plans with our friends, with our family, our cousins, to see, make plans for after Christmas to kind of meet up and compare gifts to see who got the better haul. But all this was excitement, anticipation, with waiting. And there was a real palpable anticipation that we experienced when we were that young. And this is the same thing that the Hebrew prophets experienced in the first reading today. All they could look forward to was the redemption of their people. None of the prophets back then could have told you when the Messiah was coming, just that he was. They didn't know if he was coming tomorrow, the day after, 1,000 years from then, 10,000 years. All they knew was that he was coming and that they were waiting for it. That one day, as they waited for what must have seemed like forever, they knew that the Christ, the Messiah, was on his way. Much in the same way a little child knows that Santa Claus is coming on December 25th and is waiting with anticipation, the prophets knew and waited for the coming of the Christ. This sense of anticipation, of expectation and waiting is what Holy Mother Church wants to encourage in us today. Not just today, but throughout this season and indeed throughout our entire lives. Every day of the year, but especially during this time of Advent. It's been over 2,000 years since the first Christmas day, and still we look forward with expectation that Christ will come again, that he will return in glory. Holy Mother Church encourages us to look forward as if we were traveling with the three wise men. We can kind of imagine it. We're on this ostensibly dirt road in the middle of nowhere with these three guys that we probably don't have any knowledge of other than, these three dudes are following this bright light in the distance and it's the only light I can see. I'm kind of like, okay, well, let's just follow them. But there's an anticipation as we walk down this dirt road with the three wise men. It's like, what is this bright light? It's so out of the ordinary, I don't understand it. And then as we get closer to the source of this light, which started high in the sky, and as we get closer, it's moving closer and closer to the ground, till finally we find that light with the three wise men, and it's coming from a cave, or a kind of cave. And in there we find a child with his parents, a little baby in a manger. And that is the brightest light in the entirety of the night sky. When the Messiah came, few really were expecting him. He came unto his own, and his own received him not. Most people of that time had been blind to what was most essential in their lives and in the life of the world. They were so focused on everything else, on the things of the world, that they became blind very specifically to what was needed most, who was needed most. Watch, therefore, our Lord tells us in today's gospel, reminding us not to neglect what is most essential in our lives and in the lives of the world. Wake from sleep, St. Paul echoes, for we too can forget what is most fundamental in our existence, what life on earth is really all about. The church reminds us of this with a 4-week period of preparation so that we can get ourselves ready to celebrate Christmas once more. It is a season, a holy season of preparation, of waiting, and of hope. A time to prepare for the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, to wait for him with excitement, the same excitement of a child on Christmas Eve, ready to receive him and rejoice in his coming, happy to have him as the gift. I think I've said this every single year that I've been here, especially on this day on Advent, but there is a question that remains. How do we prepare for Christmas, for the coming of Jesus Christ? Because this is what this entire season is about, is preparation, waiting. So how do we prepare? If you notice, we've started slowly decorating the church here. Tonight, we're going to have the entire tree lit up. And I'm sure you've already started decorating your houses, inside and out. This outward decoration, this outward celebration is good, but is only good if it's accompanied by an interior preparation. If we are working towards knowing, loving, and serving our Lord Jesus Christ every day of our lives, and loving our neighbor as ourselves. If all we do is have this outward show and outward experience, then what good is it? What's the purpose of all this if it doesn't actually accompany an interior change of heart, an interior transformation, a moving closer of our soul with God, towards God? We need to be prepared, and we need to welcome and be excited for God in the same way the little child is excited and anticipating the coming of Santa. It's hard to do. It's hard to remember exactly what that feeling was like. But if we can capture that anticipation, that excitement, that joy of the little children, and have that towards Jesus Christ and his coming, then we've done it. That's what we're looking for. That's the kind of thing that the church is trying to encourage in us today, is to seek Christ and to be happy that we find him and to transform the entirety of our lives. My brothers and sisters, prepare your hearts and your homes, for our Lord is coming, and we must be ready.